True success doesn't begin in your bank account, your resume, or the number of followers on your profile. It begins deep within, in the unseen chambers of your soul. It starts when a man or woman comes face to face with who they are and who they were created to be. It starts when you realize that everything external is temporary, but what's happening inside of you is eternal. The world says, build your brand, make your name great. But God says, let me build you. Let me make your name count in heaven, not just on earth. I've seen it time and time again. A young man chasing dreams, running hard, gaining momentum, but all the while ignoring the condition of his soul. And then one day it all crashes down. Why? Because he built his success on the shifting sands of performance and pride instead of on the solid foundation of identity and purpose in God. He thought success was out there, something to chase, when all along God was saying, become first, grow first. Let me do a work in your heart before I give you the platform. Jesus asked, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? That's the question every one of us must wrestle with, because there is no amount of applause, money, or status that can heal a soul that is lost, broken, or disconnected from its creator. Real success is being able to lay your head down at night and know that you are in right standing with God, that your purpose is aligned with His will, and that your spirit is at peace. Not because life is easy, but because your foundation is strong. You don't attract real success by pretending to be someone you're not. You attract it by becoming the person God intended you to be. You do the hard work in secret. You let God purify your motives. You face your fears. You lay down your ego. And as He shapes your heart, molds your mindset, and teaches you to trust Him, something powerful begins to happen. Your life starts to magnetize opportunity, not because you chased it, but because you were ready for it. Success isn't about getting ahead. It's about growing deeper. It's not about what the world sees. It's about what God sees. And when your soul is right, when your heart is clean, and when your spirit is open to the voice of God, you're not just successful, you're unshakable. Your character is the silent architect of your destiny. It's the foundation beneath everything you build in life, your relationships, your career, your influence, even your faith. Without character, success becomes a trap. With it, success becomes a tool for something far greater than yourself. You see, talent may open the door, but only character will keep you in the room. The world loves charisma. It applauds charm and celebrates gifts. But God values what's underneath all that. He looks at the heart, because your character, not your charm, is what reveals who you really are when no one's watching. I've met men with incredible potential, brilliant minds, powerful voices, unmatched ambition, but without integrity, without honesty, without humility, they crumbled under the weight of the very thing they prayed for. Success came fast, but character was shallow. And the truth is, God loves us too much to promote us beyond what our character can sustain, because if He gives you the blessing before you're ready to carry it, it can crush you instead of elevate you. Character isn't built overnight. It's formed in the fire of adversity, in the quiet decisions when no one is keeping score. It's shaped when you choose to do what's right, even when it's hard, even when it costs you something. It's refined when you forgive instead of retaliate, when you speak truth instead of flattery, when you walk away from temptation instead of entertaining it. Those are the moments that make a man. Those are the unseen victories that prepare you for the platform you prayed for. The world teaches us to fake it till we make it. But God calls us to become it before we ever step into it. And character is the measure of that becoming. Are you dependable? Are you consistent? Are you faithful with little so that God can trust you with much? These are not glamorous questions, but they are the ones that define your legacy. So if you want to attract true, lasting success, don't just polish the surface. Cultivate the core. Let God dig deep. Let Him purify your motives. Let Him challenge your habits, your thoughts, your attitudes. Because who you are in private will always echo louder than what you perform in public. And when your character is anchored in Christ, no storm, no scandal, no setback can steal what God has placed in your hand. Faith is not just a belief. It is the bedrock upon which true, lasting success is built. It is the inner fire that keeps you going when everything around you says quit. It's the quiet strength that whispers God is still with you. Even when the doors close, the lights dim, and the applause fades. You see, without faith, success becomes a shallow pursuit, a hollow echo. But with faith, success becomes a journey of obedience, purpose, and eternal reward. I've seen people try to climb their mountains in their own strength, pushing, grinding, strategizing, but somewhere along the way they run out of fuel. Why? Because talent, hustle, and intellect can only take you so far. Eventually the road gets steep, the burden gets heavy, and your soul starts to crave something deeper than results. That's when faith steps in. Not the kind of faith that simply hopes for an outcome, but the kind that trusts the one who holds the outcome. When you walk by faith, you begin to see that success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become while you trust God through the process. It's about waking up each day with a confidence that doesn't come from circumstances, but from the unshakable truth that your life is in the hands of a sovereign God. That even when things don't make sense, even when you're in the valley, He's working it all together for your good. I remember a time in my life when the dream looked distant and the doors were all shut tight. I had to ask myself, do I trust God only when things go my way, or do I trust Him even when the waiting stretches longer than I expected? That's what faith does. It teaches you to lean, to listen, to obey even when the answers are unclear. It teaches you that your identity is not in your performance, but in His promises. Faith isn't passive, it's active. It moves your feet. It guides your decisions. It strengthens your resolve. And yes, it sometimes leads you into uncomfortable places, not to harm you, but to grow you. Because every trial is a classroom. Every delay is a divine appointment, and every failure is just a stepping stone when you're walking with God. When you build your life on faith, success will look different. It won't always come quickly, but it will come with substance. It won't always come with fanfare, but it will come with fruit. Because success rooted in faith doesn't fade when seasons change. It stands firm. It endures. And most of all, it glorifies the one who made it possible. Discipline is the quiet daily choice that separates wishful thinking from powerful becoming. It's not flashy. It doesn't grab headlines or applause, but it's there. In the early mornings when the alarm clock calls you out of comfort. In the late nights when you're still working while others rest. In the quiet refusal to quit when things get hard. Discipline is the unseen engine behind every breakthrough, every victory, every story of success that stood the test of time. So many people want the harvest, but they're not willing to work the field. They want the results, but they're not committed to the process. And here's the truth. God honors consistency. Not perfection, but faithfulness. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you're praying to be. It's what turns potential into progress. It's what transforms vision into reality, not in one big leap, but in thousands of little steps, taking an obedient. I've met people with all the talent in the world, bright minds, big dreams, strong charisma, but they lacked discipline, and so they never saw those dreams fulfilled, because dreams without discipline dissolve into disappointment. But I've also seen ordinary men and women, not with the loudest voices or the biggest platforms, but with quiet, relentless discipline, rise up and change lives, build legacies, and impact generations. Why? Because they showed up day after day, moment after moment, faithful in the small things until God trusted them with more. Discipline doesn't feel good in the moment. It challenges you. It stretches your limits. It tells your flesh no when everything inside you is screaming yes. But that's where growth lives, right there in the tension between desire and obedience. That's where the Spirit does its deepest work. Because when you learn to deny yourself in the small daily things, you become strong enough to carry the weight of greater things. And understand this, spiritual discipline matters just as much, if not more, than physical or professional discipline. Are you making space for God in your day? Are you in His Word? Are you guarding your mind, your heart, your habits? Because success without spiritual discipline is a house without a foundation. It looks strong, but it crumbles in a storm. So don't despise discipline. Embrace it, because the version of you that you're praying to become is built by the choices you're making when no one else is watching. If you stay faithful in the process, God will be faithful in the outcome every time. Who you surround yourself with matters more than most people realize. The company you keep is not just social, it's spiritual. It shapes your thinking, it influences your standards, it either fuels your purpose or feeds your distractions. You were never meant to walk this journey alone, but you were also never meant to walk with just anybody. If you want to become the kind of person who attracts true success, then you must be intentional about the people you allow into your circle. I've seen it happen over and over. Good people, gifted people with real potential slowly lose their fire, their focus, because they were surrounded by those who pulled them off course, not with evil intentions, but simply with empty ones. When your closest friends are more interested in comfort than growth, more interested in entertainment than purpose, you start to drift. Not all at once, but little by little, until one day you realize you're far from the life you were meant to live. God calls us to love everyone, yes, but He doesn't call us to walk closely with everyone. Jesus had crowds, but He also had 12. And within the 12, He had 3. Even the Son of God chose His inner circle wisely. Why? Because purpose requires protection. Destiny requires discernment. You need people who sharpen you, challenge you, pray for you, correct you in love, and remind you of who you are when life tries to make you forget. If you surround yourself with people who only reflect where you are, you'll stay stuck. But if you walk with those who reflect where you're going, you'll be pulled higher. Proverbs says, "He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm." It's not just a warning, it's a promise. Who you walk with determines the direction of your life. You want to attract success? Then build your life with people of vision, people of integrity, people of faith. Sit at the table with those who speak life, who dream big, who live disciplined, and who remind you that this life is about more than just making it. It's about becoming someone who matters in eternity. So take a look around, ask yourself, who's speaking into your life? Who's helping you grow? Who are you becoming because of the people closest to you? And then ask God for the courage to make the changes you need to make, not out of pride, but out of purpose. Because the right relationships won't just make you feel good, they'll make you better. And when your circle is aligned with your calling, success doesn't just become possible. Purpose is not something you find out there in the world. It's something that's already been placed inside of you by the one who created you. It's not hidden behind fame, fortune, or the perfect 5-year plan. Purpose isn't always loud or glamorous. Sometimes it's quiet, subtle, and steady, but it's always powerful. And when you tap into your God-given purpose, everything about your life begins to shift. Your steps become intentional, your choices gain clarity, your trials take on meaning, because you're no longer living by chance, you're living on assignment. I've talked to so many people who say, I just want to be successful, but when you ask them why, they don't have an answer. They're chasing shadows, chasing validation, chasing a version of success that someone else told them was worth pursuing. But God didn't put you here to copy someone else's dream. He didn't create you to climb someone else's ladder. He gave you a unique set of gifts, passions, experiences, and even struggles, not to waste, but to use. And when you discover that your life is part of something eternal, something far greater than yourself, you stop chasing applause and start chasing impact. Purpose anchors you. It becomes your why when things get hard. It keeps you grounded when opportunities come your way that look good but aren't God. It reminds you that success without purpose is just noise. Impressive maybe, but ultimately empty. But success with purpose, that's when things get powerful. That's when your work becomes worship. That's when your gifts serve a greater cause. That's when your platform becomes a pulpit, whether you're in a boardroom, a classroom, or a construction site. I remember when I finally stopped asking, what do I want out of life, and started asking, God, what do you want from my life? That simple shift changed everything. Because when you line up with your divine assignment, doors open that you didn't even knock on. Peace fills places that used to be chaotic, and success begins to flow, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with heaven's design for your life. So don't just hustle, don't just dream, seek God, ask Him to reveal the purpose behind your existence. And when you find it, when you begin to walk in it, you'll realize that true success was never about climbing the highest mountain, but about walking the path that was made just for you. That's where joy lives. That's where peace lives. That's where legacy lives. And that's where you become the person who doesn't just attract success, but carries it with grace and eternal significance. Success at its highest and most meaningful level was never meant to end with you. The world tells us to climb, to conquer, to accumulate. But heaven teaches us to give, to serve, to pour out. You weren't created just to win for your own sake. You're created to lift others as you rise, to use your influence not as a pedestal, but as a platform to point people towards something greater than yourself. Real success leaves a trail of hope, of healing, of changed lives. When you understand that your life is a vessel, not a trophy case, everything changes. Your victories take on new weight. Your struggles become testimonies. Your talents become tools, not just to build your kingdom, but to expand God's kingdom. It's easy to get caught in the trap of self-promotion, to chase applause, to want the spotlight. But let me tell you, spotlights fade. Awards gather dust. What lasts, that's legacy. That's eternal. I've seen people reach the top and feel empty. Why? Because they thought success was the finish line. But in God's eyes, success is just a stage. A stage for love, for service, for purpose. You don't attract true success just to bask in it. You attract it so that you can multiply it. So you can pass it on, so you can build something that outlives you. Think about the people who changed your life. Was it their status, their bank account, their accolades? Or was it the way they made you feel, seen, valued, inspired? That's what you carry now. You have the power to do that for someone else, to be the reason someone doesn't quit, to speak life into someone who's forgotten how to dream, to give when it would be easier to take. Jesus said it is more blessed to give than to receive. And that's not just about money, it's about your time, your wisdom, your experience, your encouragement. Every ounce of success God gives you is an opportunity to serve, to mentor, to uplift, to leave a mark that isn't measured in numbers, but in names, in the lives forever changed because you showed up, you loved well, and you made it about more than just yourself. So when you ask God for success, ask Him to make you a river, not a reservoir. Let it flow through you. Let your success become someone else's breakthrough. Because that's when you'll know you didn't just attract success, you became a steward of it. And in God's eyes, that's the highest form of greatness there is. As we close, I want you to hear this clearly. The real key to success is not found in what the world calls achievement. It's found in the quiet moments of faith, in the courage to stand firm when everything around you is shaking, in the discipline to stay true to your calling even when it gets tough, and in the love and service you offer others along the way. Success, the kind that lasts and leaves a mark, doesn't come from what you accumulate, but from who you become and how you impact the lives around you. I don't want you to chase a dream that leaves you empty. At the end, I want you to chase the purpose that fills you, that empowers you, and that brings glory to the one who created you. When you begin to see success not as an end, but as a journey, when you understand that your life is not just for you, but for those around you, you will attract a success that is beyond anything you could ever imagine. So take a step today. Take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, am I the person who attracts success? If not, know that it's not too late. You can choose to become. You can choose to grow, to build your character, to deepen your faith, to align yourself with your purpose, and to serve those around you. The life you were meant to live is waiting for you to step into it. Success is not out of reach. It's within you. You were made for more than just surviving. You were made to thrive, to leave a legacy, and to be a light in this world. The choice is yours, my friend. Step into it and watch how God uses your life to attract a success that brings Him glory, lifts others, and changes the world forever.